Hey there, Nick Janithakis here. In this video, we're going to go over how to configure Vim with a custom mapping and no plugins required to very quickly format text to a specific width. For example, I have this markdown file here, and by the way, I use this tactic all over the place for my personal blog. There's almost 400 blog posts there, lots of markdown documentation. I also like to format code to 80 characters wide, but typically I use some, package related to my programming language because it's going to be a lot more smart around how to do that formatting. But when it comes to something like a markdown document or text file, Vim can handle this very easy using the GQ motion. Now, check this out though, and I don't want to make this video to be a sales pitch on why you should consider maybe wrapping characters to a certain width, but for the sake of this video, my font size is jacked up. I'm also only recording a tiny area of my screen. If I were using regular font sizes, like this line is all one line being wrapped now by Vim, and it would be very hard to read this, right? I'd have to move my entire head left to right, and you get the idea. But check this out. I have a custom mapping set up now where I can just hit my leader key and then G, which if you're using my dot files by any chance, that would be spacebar G, and it's going to immediately format that paragraph. I could do it here as well. I can undo those changes, save the file, decide to select this whole thing, and do leader G here, and now it's going to do both of them at once. And it's really using built-in functionality with Vim, and we'll take a look at that in a second here. But you might be thinking well, that's kind of neat, but why wouldn't you just do that by default? Couldn't you just set things up so that when you save the file, you can do this auto formatting? And that actually is a fantastic idea. Totally would work. However, in the real world, that seems to not work very nicely. And some of that is due to personal preference. Other is due to just things getting completely borked. And we'll see an example of that here. But for example here, yeah, I have a couple of list items here. And to me, this looks kind of nice, right? They're all on one line. They're slightly hanging over the 80 character mark, 84 characters. We can see, I don't know, my head might be covering that one. It is, but I promise you there is an output from Vim here that says 84. This one says 81 and that one's 88. But you get the idea. And if this were auto-formatted, I can totally do leader G on this, but look what happens now. Things start hanging over to two lines, and the readability of that list is just not as good. So, my personal opinion is if I'm writing a blog post and I have a list and, these lines are just a little bit hanging over, sometimes if it's even a little bit longer for a personal blog post or something like that, I don't mind it. I don't mind not formatting that. So that's one reason why I don't have it automated to where, just having this command that we're about to go over get run on save inside of a markdown or text file or whatever. Likewise, my personal blog happens to be using Jekyll, so that's a static site generator, but the idea is for this, and this is a sample from one of my posts here, it starts with these triple dashes, and then you can put in some YAML basically. Normally this is syntax highlighted, but for the sake of video, not that important because I have it all mixed up in this one file here, and it goes into the regular post, whatever. But long story short, if I were to format this front matter, leader G there, yeah, that just starts to get not quite nice, and that's not going to work very well. Maybe I can do some crazy Vim scripting thing to not include the front matter stuff, but it just becomes too much of an effort, and it's not a big deal. There are some cases where I just want the manual control, so that's why I like to be able to select text and then do leader G here, and we are good to go. But that's the use case. So now let's go over checking this out. So I have another custom mapping set up in my vimrc if you happen to be using my dot files. That's leader EV. Basically, the idea there is edit vimrc file. And if I jump down to GQ here, these are the heroes of the story. And really, it's built-in functionality to Vim that is really nice here. So, we have a normal mapping here, leader G. Again, you can customize that to whatever you'd like. GQ is the deal here. So GQ allows you to format lines followed by whatever motion that you want to do. So in this case, when you have AP, I think that stands for something like a paragraph, or I don't know if it's a round paragraph, but basically it deals with paragraphs. So what do we want to do? We want to format lines for a paragraph. So if we go back to the text file here, and instead of running my leader G command, I can just do gqap, and that is going to do the same thing that custom mapping did without having to type in gqap, because let's face it now, yes, that is a little bit verbose to have to type out every single time. There's also other things you can do, for example, since you can just combo this with some type of motion that you want to do, you can do something like GQ Shift G, and that's actually going to do the entire file. Assuming that your cursor is already at the top of the file, you can always jump there with GG to get there up top first. So in that case, if we're over here, then I would do GG, GQ, or uppercase G. And I mean, that starts to get a little bit crazy, right? I would never do one on the full file. Two, that is way too much typing. So that's why I just have this custom mapping set up here, just so I can do leader G, and we're done. And then this one over here also deals with visual selection mode. I forget the difference between X and all these other ones, but this is something that's been in my vimrc file for literally years, but the idea here is it's doing literally the same thing. Now, it's interesting that if you were to put the P here as well, because, we went over before that this actually does work. If I just select that, it just works completely fine. And, I forgot to mention this before, but you're already in insert mode immediately after doing the formatting. That is pretty nice here. But yeah, if you put the P here for the selection mode one, and I do leader SV, which is going to basically just reload my vimrc file, and I come back here and I do another selection and leader G there, you can actually see that inserted a P here. So physical resolution, however you want to pronounce that one, like Vim actually inserted that P there. I don't want that there. So that is why I don't have the P over here. I actually don't know why, but this is also one of those funny things about Vim. It's like, you can use it, you can mess with it, you can create custom mappings, and you can sort of kind of know what you're doing, but there's like some stuff where you just like, I don't know why the hell it does that, but like somehow you can still get things to work, and it's actually quite nice. So by the way, you can also bring up the help menu here for GQ, and it'll just let you know, like, by the way, you can format the lines. It actually does the formatting based on this one value of text width. In my case, I actually have text width set to 0. So it says here too, like if it's set to 0, then it's going to go for a max width of 79, which is right before that little marker, which is exactly what I want. So that is how that's set up. If you want it to be a little bit longer, I think you can set text width to 100. I'm actually doing this live here. I didn't even test this out to see if it works, but I would imagine technically, theoretically, that should maybe go to 100, and it actually didn't at all. So I don't know why that didn't work, but maybe that, well, actually, should we live debug this one? Let me look for 80 characters. Anything else? Color column. So why didn't that get formatted down to 100 characters? All right. So I'm actually sometimes if I'm editing my Vim file, I'll just reopen it. Sometimes maybe that's a setting where, yeah, perfect. Okay. The world is not too crazy here. It did get formatted to 100 characters here. I'm actually on character 97. Again, my head's hiding that one, but it seems in this case, like for whatever reason, editing the text width, you need to reload Vim. Let me also just double confirm that one. So let me put that back to 0, save. Make sure I did reload Vim, done. Okay, if I go back to here, oh, you know what? Maybe I needed to like reload Vim in this buffer. I don't know. No, that's only like a tab. That should have applied, but let me undo that, and then we'll go back to leader G. But yeah, I think also, by the way, even inside of Vim's help menu, if you do a help for gqap, I think it's in here somewhere. Yeah, so you can say like to format the current paragraph, use gqap here. And yeah, we just hooked it up to a custom mapping to get where we are here. And that's really going to be it for this video. Kind of a quick one, but very useful thing. This is something that I do so often when I'm writing, blog posts and documentation. So with that said, if you have any questions about this, let me know in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer all of them. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, even though technically you probably can't see it. It does really help in the end. So yeah, on that note, thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you in the next video.